Our special feature tonight, heavy rainfall witnessed in parts of the Rift Valley region in recent months has exposed imminent threats as huge fissures and sinkholes emerge in some parts of Nakuru. Geologists are searching for answers into the emergence of the fissures, arguing that the Rift Valley region still experiences active movement of the tectonic plates and more fault lines have been created. Citizen TV's Maryanne Nyambura delves into the phenomenon, even as geologists warn that the fissures pose a risk to the construction of skyscrapers as Nakuru sits on unstable soil structure.
Nakuru County lies in the Great Rift Valley region that runs from the Horn of Africa to Mozambique, sitting on some of the most unstable ground on the continent, according to geologists. Effects of volcanic activities that occurred millions of years ago during the formation of the Rift Valley continue to be felt in the area. In 2024, following weeks of heavy rainfall and floods, the devastating effects of the heavy rains began to be felt in Nakuru from 8th May, as huge fissures developed in Kaptembwa, one of the informal settlement areas in Nakuru town west. More than 500 families were displaced from their rental houses. Huge cracks on walls and floors appeared. Their homes were submerged, and even though lives were spared, they lost just about everything else. The magnitude of the damage threatening livelihoods.
Sasa tulikuwa na manyumba 16 na zote zimeathirika. Ni hasara juu sasa unaona tegemeo ilikuwa hapa. Sasa kuna income nyingine ndio imeenda yote, tulikuwa na loan kwa bank.
Huge fissures developed in Ngata Estate, Rongai, Nakuru. Susan Rono, who owns a 30-acre piece of land in Ngata, is devastated. She recalls how one morning she woke up to news that a sinkhole emerged on her land. She says the sinkhole continues to expand with each passing day.
Hiyo shimo ilikuwa iko mbeleni moja. Alafu siku ile mvua ilianza kunyesha, kansa maji kaanza kujaa. Sasa ile meja ikaanza kubomoka, meenda kwa mahindi katikati.
In the month of May, 5 areas of Gilgil, Kiamunyi and Kaptembwa in Nakuru West, Ngata and Subukia have witnessed the emergence of fissures and sinkholes. Dr. Clement Lenashuru, a natural resource scientist and geologist, says that the emergence of fissures and sinkholes in some parts of Nakuru is due to the geological nature of the region that experienced volcanic activity many months ago, making the soil structure unstable.
The eruption of these two mountains due to volcanic activity led to the spread of the volcanic ashes, what we call the pumice, that covered a number of fault lines in this area. And so below the surface where we are loose ash sand, which at a single percolation of water, very quickly it can be drained off.
Residents of Kaptembwa in Nakuru West and Ngata say poor drainage systems passing through their homes largely contributed to the occurrence. As groundwater seeped through, geologists say Nakuru's volcanic soil structure washes off with ease, and a good drainage system is required.
There are a number of fault lines along this Rift Valley. During the formation of the Rift Valley, the fault lines were not, all of them were not uniform. There were those that are deep, there were those that are shallow, there are those that are long, others are short. So, when you have got lots of rain, and this rain are able, due to poor drainage, go and have in contact with the loose ashes or the sand underground.
Grace Ruiro, a soil scientist, explains why areas that lie within fault lines in Nakuru could continue witnessing huge fissures if the rains persist. She attributes this to the active movement of tectonic plates.
And just thinking about the fault lines that we are having, that means they are filled by the volcanic ash, which I would say in layman's, they can be categorized into the sandy category of soils, and that means they cannot hold water, as we'll see with a clay soil.
The emergence of fissures and sinkholes also lifting the lead on the development of infrastructure within the fault lines that could pose a threat to Nakuru residents. Nakuru could be sitting on a ticking time bomb as skyscraper buildings continue to be developed despite its weak soil structure. The reports show that building approvals by the county are done after landlords present approvals by structural engineers. Geologists are keen to discourage the development of skyscrapers. The now defunct Municipal Council of Nakuru had advised the development of low-story buildings under the Building and Construction Standards and Codes.
There was an advisory in terms of the story buildings that are recommended within this area, beyond which you're exerting the ground a lot of weight, which might give in. And you know, this area, we're on active Rift Valley, and there are likely to be geological movement, including earthquakes. And if the ground is loose and there's a strong earthquake, those buildings will collapse, or they will either sink or crack, or anything can happen to them. They will be damaged.
That means we need to be cautious. We need to take also science and research that has been carried out seriously, but also implement what has been referred to by our scientists.
In 2020, an assessment of weak spots along fault lines across Nakuru was done, but details into areas that are sitting below major fault lines remain scanty. Geologists warn that areas that have witnessed development of cracks and fissures over time during heavy rainfall could be identified as weak spots. The areas include Shabab, London, Kaptembwa, Kiamunyi and Ngata in Nakuru West, Gilgil and Suswa, where roads have in the past been cut off. Nakuru's unique formation at the base of the Great Rift Valley, where fault lines are predominant, makes the area susceptible to such natural occurrences as this sinkhole in Kiamunyi Estate. Experts say that these weak spots lie on major fault lines and advise that more research should be done to map other faults within the region. Maryanne Nyambura, Citizen TV, in Kiamunyi, Nakuru.